What's up, everyone? This is AA around here bringing you guys Psbl playoff videos, and as you can see, we have 3 playoff videos to show you, 2 semifinals, and then the 1 final. So let's just get right into this. We have the Buffalo Wild Chargers, which is obviously me and Cody, taking on the Ultra Beast, which is Lucy and Hubie. And if you actually, I messed up a little bit there. I showed you guys who was in the finals. So if you guys had eyes, you're gonna see who won this battle. But anyway, we have Ash Greninja, Aerodactyl, Doublade, Porygon 2, Tapu Fini, and Zygarde taking on Neolego, Hitmonlee, Mega Scizor, Suicune, Gardevoir, and Shaman. Right off the bat, you can see that Neolego definitely has, and always will, have a pretty good matchup. Earth Power, Power Gem, any move to there, Hidden Power Ice, Sludge Wave, and then the Porygon might be able to wall it, but that's basically it. Other way, I do believe that Zygarde should be putting in pretty good damage, taking out the Neolego, taking out the Gardevoir, but then gets walled by everything else actually, so never mind there. But let's just get right into this. I'm actually going to take it to slow, try to make this a little bit more faster of an episode. We had Mega Scizor starting off against Greninja. As Greninja goes for a Hidden Power Fire, I'm going to confirm that, on the switch into Suicune, and, excuse me, wow. Greninja decides to switch out into Tapu Fini as Suicune decides to Calm Mind. So then Suicune goes for the Hidden Power. I do believe they said Grass or maybe Electric. As the Finny goes for a Whirlpool, try to keep it in, try to get continual damage on it, but unfortunately misses. So then the next turn, Suicune's decided to go for another Calm Mind, as a Nature's Madness does in fact hit the Suicune, taking it down to 50%. So then Suicune, now with leftover recovery, goes for another Calm Mind on, again, another miss Whirlpool, the second Whirlpool miss, which is very unfortunate for our team, and goes for another Hidden Power Electric, not even doing half, which is very surprising. This is when we go for Taunt, so they can't Calm Mind anymore, but honestly, it's a little too late, as they go for another Hidden Power Grass. We decide to go for another Nature's Madness, and guess what? Another freaking miss, which really pissed us off, and that really put a damper on things, and I'm gonna just speed things up, as, spoiler alert, we are not able to, excuse me. We do get 6-0'd here by the Suicune, as we do miss, oh, I thought we'd missed the Thunder Wave, but trying to stall this thing out as best we can. They just go for another Calm Mind, which will definitely put a damper on things. We decide to go over Doublade, try to sack it, try to get as much damage off as we can, see if we can't kill it, because then Zygarde would have been able to put in a lot of work. Aerodactyl would have put in a lot of work if we were able to kill it, but Dragon Dance was the only thing we could have done. They just kill us with an Ice Beam anyway, and Suicune, like, if we were able to win, like, it got paralyzed there, which is great. So we had to kill with a Stone Edge. It only did 53, and they went for a Scald and killed us. So that was interesting. Greninja just doing as much as he can, not enough. Dies to Hidden Power Grass or Electric, whatever. So that will do it. Good game to Hubie and Lucy. The Whirlpools definitely sucked. We would have been able to take out the Suicune. Well, if we weren't able to take out the Suicune, then it would have been at such a low health where something else like a Zygarde or the Aerodactyl would have been able to take it out. But anyway, that would definitely do it, as finally the Suicune is able to take on Porygon with a Scald. So now let's go over to the other matchup. We have I Don't Know Asdark versus the Sundance Kids. We have Torkoal, Venusaur, Lando T, Hariyama, Volcanion, and Xatu taking on Thundurus T, Type Null, Alolan Ninetales, Gligar, Pyukumuku, and Terrakion. Right off the bat, I can see a mini Sun team with Torkoal, Venusaur, and Volcanion, which we should be putting in pretty good work, except for the Terrakion and Pyukumuku. We have Gligar, and Type Null for defensive purposes, and Pyukumuku as well. So let's just get right into this. We have Thundurus leading off against Hariyama. Switches right out into Gligar, I don't know what they were predicting, maybe an Ice Punch. Actually, that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, Hariyama switches out into Xatu on the Toxic as Magic Bounce comes out and takes it right back to Gligar. Uh, and then switches right out into Thunderous on the Trick, which is given the choice card, which is actually a problem for the Sundance kids, and they knew about that. They decided to switch out into Torkoal. In my opinion, I don't know why. Maybe they're predicting it was an offense, like a physically offensive Torkoal. But a hidden power, I do believe, I don't remember what it was, but they decided to go into Type Null. Sundance decided to double into Volcanion, but decided they can't really do anything, so they had to triple into Xatu on the Null's U-turn. They go right back into Thunderous as the Sundance kids go out into Hariyama and take that Thunderbolt pretty well, forcing Thunderous to switch back out into Gligar, and uh, Sundance decides to double into Venusaur. And now Venusaur decides to growth up as Gligar actually stays in and goes for Stealth Rocks, which in my opinion is not the right thing to do. But Venusaur still has 2 turns of Sun as they switch out into Type Null, trying to take that hidden power. I don't know what it was, but they took it very, very well. As Giga Drain, they even take a Giga Drain really well as they go for a Roar, getting rid of Venusaur and switching out into Hariyama, which is definitely not good. The only thing that Type Null could not handle is switch it right into. So they switch right out into Gligar on the close combat, only does 15%, but the Gligar is still poisoned, so that really matters in the long run. So then they decide to switch out into Landers, try to get that Intimidate on what they think would be, I would assume, a knockoff, but they decide to go for a Roost instead. 13 turns in, and still nothing has died. Stealth comes out for the Sundance kids as a Toxic hits Landorus, which in the long run would be very good. Gligar now switches into Type Null, trying to take a hit, as Hidden Power only does, what was that, 7%, which is crazy in my opinion. As the Earthquake is not able to take out Type Null, but a Rest Type Null comes out, and is able to take it right back out into full health. As Landorus is taking toxic damage as they decide to switch out into Torkoal, try to get that Sun back up. As Type Null now goes for Sleep Talk? Yeah, it does. As Sleep Talk U-turn takes it back out into Polly's pocket, switches out into Thunderous for these special hits as Torkoal switches out into Landorus. He gets that attack drop, which doesn't really matter, as the Thunderbolt is immune, obviously, forcing Thunderous to switch out right into Gligar, as Lando decides to double out into Torkoal. I don't know why. It was very interesting in my opinion. As a Toxic now hits Torkoal, as it's already at 30%, Rapid Spin comes out, forcing Gligar to go for Rocks again, as Torkoal switches out into Xatu on said Rocks, which is very nice, bounces it right back, which doesn't really matter in the long run. But now Gligar is at 19%, gets outsped by Heat Wave Xatu, and does in fact go down. So the first death doesn't come until turn 22, as now Terrakion comes out for the first time, and is going to be hitting something very hard, and it's going to hit Landorus, and should kill, and it does kill. With a crit, I do believe that does not matter. Terrakion is very hard hitting anyway. Now Hariyama comes in, and they decided to throw off a close combat, I do believe it was. Yep, they decided to throw off a close combat, which brings Type Null down to 16% health. And now the Sun goes away, and Hariyama just goes for a Bullet Punch. Doesn't kill, actually, as Type Null will now go for not even a Sleep Talk, excuse me, as another Bullet Punch is able to take out the Type Null. Now Thunderous comes out, loses 25%, and I think he goes for a Thunderbolt. He does, in fact, go for a Thunderbolt, taking out the Torkoal, so now the Sun will not be able to stay, as Venusaur comes out, switches out into Ninetales to get that chloroform, excuse me, to get the Sun to go away, but instead they forgot Snow Warning, and the Sun is there to stay for another 6 turns, as Volcanion now switches out, taking that Blizzard very, very nicely. Now Pyukumuku comes out, does not take that Flamethrower well because of the crit, or else it would have. They switches out into Zatu as the recover comes out, as Pyukumuku takes that heat wave very, very nicely. I don't know what they were trying to think there, but Pyukumuku goes for a Z bestow, boosting up that speed, which is very shocking in our opinion. Goes for a Giga Drain, and Pyukumuku then goes for a Baton Pass right into Terrakion. Now we have a +2 speed Terrakion, assumed to be banded. Unfortunately, missed the Stone Edge, and I do believe that's what won the game for the Sundance kids. Because Giga Drain does 44 to it. Then they switch out into Venusaur, try to sack it off, I do believe, as it does not in fact die, which is very surprising in my opinion. But Earthquake is able to kill it. And then they're able to bring out Hariyama, I do believe it was. I was right. And then Hariyama is able to fake out the Pyukumuku as they try to go for. And Pyukumuku is now just down to 36% health, as the close combat is in fact able to take it out. Inwards Out is able to do a lot of damage to Hariyama. And now we're sitting at 3v3, as now Thunderous comes out, takes another 25%. As Hariyama then switches out into Zatu to take the Thunderbolt and is able to just destroy the Zatu. As now Hariyama comes back in. And Hariyama is going to go for a fake out, bringing Thunderous down to 4%. Obviously, for it lynches, because that's what it does. Bullet Punch is able to take out Thunderous. And now we are sitting at 2v2 again, with both of the last mons weak to Bullet Punch. So now Hariyama switches out into Terrakion to take the Earthquake. Volcanion obviously just goes down. The first death of the season for Volcanion, as Hariyama is now able to come in. They go for a fake out. Doesn't do a whole lot obviously, but it was just there for flinching and to secure that Bullet Punch is able to take it out, which it does, and also take out the Alolan Ninetales, which is at about 50%, I do believe. Yep, and that is good game for us. The Sundance kids were only won 1-0. So that means we have the Ultra Beast versus the Sundance kids, and we have Darmanitan, Suicune, Neolego, Gardevoir, Minior, and Crocodile versus Hariyama, Electros, Lando, T, Gudra, Clefable, and Volcanion as well. For this one, I can see Neolego putting in a pretty good work. Darmanitan coming in for only the second time this whole season. Very interesting to see. But also Hariyama, which has been putting in a lot of work, especially last battle, might be able to do it again this battle. Especially with 3 things weak to Bullet Punch, Neolego, Gardevoir, and Minior. Let's get right into this then. Darmanitan decides to lead against Landorus. The Intimidate forces the Darmanitan to switch, as Knockoff does hit Suicune, getting rid of that leftovers, which is not good. As Landorus decides to switch out into Volcanion, as obviously a Scald does not do enough to Volcanion, as now a Toxic goes to Suicune, as the Calm Mind does hit. They go for a Hidden Power. I do believe they said Hidden Power Electric. As Volcanion goes for a sub, predicting them to switch as well. But Hidden Power Electric does in fact take out the sub, as Steam Eruption only does 12% to it. Deciding to switch out into Gudra to take this Ice Beam, what they thought was going to be another Hidden Power, but the Gudra gets frozen, but the Suicune does die to toxic damage. As now Crocodile comes out, forces the Gudra to switch into Landorus on the knockoff, but we see that it is a Z move. They go for a Rock Polish on the Stealth Rocks from Crocodile, as Landorus goes for an Earthquake. Excuse me, I was having hiccups there. As Crocodile goes for a Toxic. Knockoff to Landorus on the Crocodile. Kills the Crocodile, and now the Ultra Beasts are down 2 mons, as Gardevoir comes in, intimidates the Landorus, as they decide to double out into Minior on the Volcanion switch-in. Goes for an Acrobatics and takes out Volcanion. 2 kills for Volcanion's 2 games, no kills at all. As Electros comes in, forces Darmanitan to switch in, as they go for a Coil. And Darmanitan actually kills Electros after a +1 defense boost from a Flare Blitz from Darmanitan. Forces a Landorus switch in, as they decide to double out into Gudra, which goes for a Flare Blitz. Gudra lives the hit, only at 10%, and unthaws, which is very good part on the Sundance kids. as Gardevoir now comes out, takes the Thunderbolt pretty nicely, and is able to go for a Side Shock and kill Gudra. So now Hariyama comes in, as we know that Fake Out and Bullet Punch should be able to take it out. So that's exactly what they're going to do. They just decide to sack Gardevoir, and now Hariyama is at -2 speed, which honestly doesn't really matter. It's slow enough as it was. They switch out into Clefable, and Clefable just gets destroyed by Flare Blitz there. And Darmanitan is left at 15%. They think that Bullet Punch is able to take it out, and it does. I would have gone for Fake Out in my opinion, but hey, it worked. As now Minior comes out, and Minior, Hariyama decides to switch out into Landers, try to get that attack lowered. I think they were predicting, excuse me, I think the Sundance kids were predicting Minior to go for a Shell Smash, so they went out into Landers to get that Intimidate to make them use that White Herb, but instead they decided to go for the offensive move and take out Landers. So then the White Herb doesn't really matter. I think they were trying to get that defense to be lowered for the Hariyama to kill it with a Bullet Punch, and could be able to kill Neolego. But instead they killed Landorus, go for a Fake Out that did not do a whole lot, obviously, because it's Rock type and the shields are up. Bullet Punch is not able to take it out, as Acrobatics does take out the Hariyama. And your winners of Season 2 is Hooby and Lucy, the Ultra Beasts. Congratulations, you guys both deserve it. A very good season, a very good finals. Nice try for, gosh, the Sundance kids. Very, very strong performance in the regular season, 9-0, but unfortunately fall out short. Thank you guys all for participating. Look for a season recap video with me, Mike, and Ninetales. But also look out for a season 3 like teams recaps. That's going to be brought to you by the loser of this, the Rock Hands, and his friends. They're going to do like a season draft recap for season 3, which is going on right now. We're about 5 rounds into this on this slow draft. Waiting on Nakora. Damn Nakora. Damn Nakora. But thank you guys all for watching. Have a good one. Peace.